Welcome to Powerless to Powerful with Angela Bennett, a show that brings a sassy mix of transformative advice on health, relationships, love, career, and mindset shifting, together with some fun and laughter. Powerless to Powerful with Angela Bennett begins now. Welcome to Powerless to Powerful. And today, my extremely extraordinary and interesting guest is the beautiful Emily Penton. She is a transformational coach and author dedicated to helping clients overcome brain fog, mental illness, and metabolic dysfunction. Through her personalized coaching program, Emily empowers individuals to break free from addiction to sugar, carbs, and processed foods, leading to mental clarity, stability, and peace. In our interview, Emily will share her expertise in supporting those with conditions like bipolar disorder, multiple sclerosis, and diabetes, showcasing real-life success stories from her clients who have experienced remarkable positive changes. She also discusses her latest book, You're Not Broken, which chronicles her own journey from debilitating bipolar disorder to overcoming multiple sclerosis through a carnivore diet. So I'm excited to have you join us today for an enlightening conversation as we explore Emily's transformative work and the collaborative podcast experience that she brings. So yay!
Thank you.
Emily, welcome, welcome, welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here with us today. I know that you have such a cool story, and I've had the honor of sharing glimpses of it throughout the time that we've known each other. So I'm really excited to dive deeper into this. Can you just tell us at the core? I know I've given a brief outline of who you are and what you do, but could you just tell us at the core of you who you really are?
Who I really am. Who I really am is someone who seeks clarity for the purpose of direction for me to be able to help others. I lived so much of my life in confusion and in misery, and it was torture. It was absolute torture. And so I have found that clarity and getting that clear knowing and going in that direction and then showing others how to go in that direction it's my life's mission. It's everything to me.
It must be so empowering to see people in those situations. Like you, I know confusion and I know misery, and torture is the perfect word for it. And to have someone who can help bring clarity to those dark, foggy, confusing, torturous spaces. Oh my gosh, breath of fresh air. Like, I just had this vision of being in a well that's so deep and so dark, and everything in there is so heavy. And then you're like this glimpse of light at the top of the tunnel, at the top of the well, with this rope, dropping this rope down and pulling someone out, like offering that helping hand, because you don't want to get in the well with them, right? Because you're no help down there. But you're at the top of this well, dropping down this rope, going, "Hi, I'm here. Let's do this journey together." That's really cool.
Yes, absolutely. And I've had the analogy with some of my clients of them being in a cave and it's just so dark. But I explained to them that there's a guide rope, that even though they're at the bottom of that cave, I've got the other end of the guide rope. And they're like, "We're not going anywhere. It's been a whole week and we're not going anywhere." And I'm like, "Have you got the guide rope?" "Yeah." "Do you believe me that I have the guide rope?" "Yeah." "All right, we're going to get there. We just got to keep stepping inch by inch by inch as we go towards the light." And but I love that analogy of the well, because I have to come with a a full well myself to be able to pour into others.
Yeah, I love that. And it is such, when we do jump off that cliff of despair and disappointment and into that confusion and misery, like it's deep. It's deep, and it can be a really hard place to get out of. And it doesn't happen overnight, that deep, that depth. And so, a week into working with you, you can't expect for it all to have lifted within the week, because it's taken a while to get there, and it takes a while to gradually and slowly come out. Is that correct?
Absolutely. And it's important for us to acclimatize to where we're at. So many people have been so sick mentally and physically for so long that they literally do not know how to operate as a healthy and a well and stable human being. And so we can't just jump up to the top of Mount Everest without having our ears pop and our lungs collapse and like our eyes pop out of our head. Like you just can't do that. You have to acclimatize yourself to operate into that wellness. And so it's really important to go slowly and to have a guide, because if not, you're walking in the dark and you're just scared and you don't know if you're going in the right direction. You don't know if you're walking deeper into the cave or deeper into the well, or if you're going up.
Yeah, and that becomes our identity sometimes, right? Because I know with me, I battled for years with depression, like medicated depression for like 15 years maybe. But then I received healing, and I did all the work. I had to do the work. It wasn't just, "Oh, cool, sweet, now I'm done. Now I'm healed. Now I'm good." It's like that was years of work. And still every day I have to choose to to catch my thoughts and to watch what I meditate on and to watch what I allow in, because that is my weakness. But learning a new identity of what it's like to not be that person who suffers, like, as I mentioned, for me, it was depression and suicidal thoughts and attempts. And for others, it's different things. But when has been your identity for so long, learning who you are in this new space, learning how to navigate life without all of the attention that you've always had, without for us in Australia, we have a really amazing government who pays for us if you have a disability or something like that. And when you step out of that illness and that disease, you've got to step into being responsible for your life. You have to step into providing for yourself and getting a job and functioning in a world where you haven't functioned for a really long time, if ever. And you don't still have all of that attention of people going, "Are you okay? How can I help you? What do you need?" You don't have that. It's gone. So that's a whole new identity and a whole new world of discovering who you are without all of that, without all of that assistance.
And that's one of the most important things that I do whenever I work with someone, is that I teach them not to listen to me, not to listen to Dr. So and so, not to listen to this YouTuber, not to listen to this journal article. I teach them to listen to themselves. I teach them to listen to their own God-given inner clarity that is there as their GPS system. I think that's what most of us are struggling with, is that we're listening to all these different messages and going, "Okay, well, this one says to turn right, and this one says to turn left, and this one says to go straight, and this one says to stop. What do I listen to?" You listen to your inner clarity, your inner knowing. We were literally designed with this guidance system. And that's what we have to tap into. And we have to shut out the noise of everything else.
So, how do you get to a place of trusting that inner voice, that inner knowing? Because a lot of us don't trust it because we have for so long listened to so many other people. And I love that you brought this up because this is massive.
Yeah. The way that I personally start is with food. Um, And
Wow.
it sounds like it's simple, but if you think about it, your food is something that tells you something about yourself 3 times a day. And if you include snacks, 5, 6, 7 times a day. So 5, 6, or 7 times a day, you are telling yourself either I am doing a good job, I'm on target, I'm nourishing myself, I'm making good choices, or you're telling yourself I am worthless, I am not in control, I'm addicted, and I'm not satiated. I'm not getting enough, and I'm a failure. And so what I do is I use that tiny little space to say, okay, we're not going to go run a marathon. We're not going to save the world. We're not going to do anything. We're just going to focus on this one little area in your life of food. And I start with that. And we do basically an experiment where I say to them, okay, what are foods that you know, that you know, that you know are good for you? Because all of us know that. All of us know, okay, French fries are not a good choice. Soda, ramen noodles, Doritos, donuts, cookies are not a good choice. We all know that.
Yeah.
So we make the 3 lists. What are the foods that are good for you? What are the foods that you can get away with but aren't the best choice every day? Those are our safety net foods. And then what are the foods that you know you shouldn't touch?
Mhm.
And then we just go on this experiment. And instead of being like we are to ourselves, where we punish and we judge ourselves for mess ups, we're going to be scientists. And what scientists do is they observe and document. And so they observe the subject and say, oh, the subject ate an entire sleeve of Oreos and then felt horrible.
Mm.
And we're going to document that. Instead of the subject is such a glutton and so useless and so worthless that, again, for the umpteenth time, they ate an entire sleeve of Oreos. I think the subject should fast for the next 24 hours as punishment.
Wow.
So we do that first. And it seems simple. It seems like, how does that have anything to do with transformation? But it's foundational.
Wow. That is so that is so profound because, and I agree with you, like with my coaching, we start with food as well. And the way that people, thank you for bringing that up, because the way that we beat ourselves up for the mistakes we've made, it's brutal. We wouldn't speak to someone else like that, but yet we speak to ourselves like that, and really analyzing how it makes us feel when we eat the whole sleeve of Oreos, or for us Aussies, a packet of Tim Tams, a whole packet. You don't even know what they are. They are the best chocolate biscuits on the planet, and you cannot stop at one. If you can, there's something wrong with you. So you just don't buy the packet to start off with. But in that, my first question that I have written down is, can you elaborate on how your personalized coaching program specifically helps individuals with conditions like bipolar disorder, multiple sclerosis, diabetes, and autoimmune disease? And what are some of the key strategies or practices that you employ? And I know that our food has such an impact on clarity, fogginess, depression, and because of the sugar highs and lows and crashes and things like that. Do you want to elaborate and visit that question at all?
Yeah, of
Mm.
course, of course. I think I must start though, sharing my own story,
Yes.
because I don't I have my master's in clinical counseling and I've practiced as a therapist, but I don't come from this on the mountaintop as a therapist looking down. I come to this from the trenches, because I had debilitating mental illness. And I was able to function as a therapist until I couldn't. And it became unethical for me to practice in the fall of 2018. It turned into rapid cycling with bipolar disorder. And so with bipolar disorder, you go through cycles, and then you go through depression. Like you go through mania, and then you go through depression. And sometimes in the middle, you get this little like nice little waiting period. But for me, it went into every day. I didn't know who I was going to be. It was like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. I would be so nice one minute, and then I would bite your head off the next. I would be in front of people, like, explaining all of these different things and helping to change their lives. And the next minute I would be like, reschedule the whole rest of my day. I got to go. And I was in bed, and I couldn't pick up my phone. I couldn't respond to emails. I was paralyzed with depression. Wanting to kill myself, wishing that I wouldn't wake up the next day. And then I literally had to quit working for 6 months and move in with my mother at the age of 40. And that was devastating. That was absolutely devastating to be that out of control. And thankfully, my brother reached out to me, recognized my mental illness, and said, hey, there's this lady who did this carnivore diet 10 years ago, and she resolved her bipolar disorder. I read her story, and overnight, it was that knowing in me. I was like, oh, I can't, eat my vegetables and make healthy choices and do all these things because I was addicted to sugar, to the point where I had to eat every 2 to 4 hours. I had a tub of peanut butter on my nightstand so that if I woke up in the middle of the night, I could down some peanut butter. And then I went overnight on February 24th of 2019 to just eating animal meat and animal fat. And it wasn't that the magic is in that. It was that it was the bridge I needed to feel satiated, to not eat the cookies and the ramen noodles and the Doritos and all the things and the Tim Tams. I'm sure I would be in those. And then something that I did not expect happened. About 4 weeks in, I experienced a glimpse of joy.
Wow.
And I didn't even know what that emotion was. I hadn't experienced joy since childhood, maybe. And it was only for 10 minutes, but it was so foreign to me. I was just like, I was like, what is this feeling? And then it went away. The next day, it happened again for 15 minutes.
Wow.
The next day, 20. As long as I kept eating animal fat, for me, and I'm a type O, blood type. So that was for me, but that's what my inner knowing and my inner clarity was telling me to do. And I kept doing that. I had my last manic or depressive episode in April of 2019. That's 4 years ago. My psychiatrist tapered me off of all of my meds starting in June. I had my last med the end of September in 2019. I haven't had to go to the psych ward again. I haven't had any suicidal ideation. And I just keep eating animal meat and animal fat. And I reintroduced some vegetables, but I never went back to the foods that were torturing me. So whenever I talk to people, I can easily say, I know what that feels like. I know what that feels like to be not able to even trust your own self. I hated myself because I would say, sure, I'll do that on Tuesday, knowing good and well, I probably won't do that on Tuesday, or who knows if I'll do that on Tuesday, because I was so unpredictable, being so mentally ill. And so that's what I do. I help people start where they're at and to recognize that wasn't the truth. I really thought that's who I was.
Yeah, wow.
I had no idea that this is who I am. And once I cleared all the inflammation from my brain, I could really see who I really was. And the key strategies that I do with my clients is to start where you're at and to stay connected.
Mm.
We're not supposed to do this on our own. We're supposed to all be a part of this journey and to stay connected with safe people.
I love that. I love that so much. It reminds me of that saying, it takes a village to raise a child. It really does. And you need community. Unity was God's idea. Like, he created us to be with each other. And that just brings up her verse to mind. I think it's Colossians 2, where it says, when his sons and daughters, and I'm paraphrasing, when his sons and daughters are together, united, he commands his blessing. It's not, oh, I'll think about it, maybe I'll bless them, maybe I won't. He commands his blessing. And so within that unity, there's strength, right? Because we provide and receive strength from each other in those moments where things come up, and gives us a safe place and a safe person to have these conversations and to encourage and edify each other and continuing going. Because in my experience, I have also had a lifestyle of the carnivore diet or carnivore way of living. I don't like the word diet, because to me diet is it's just my lifestyle. That's how I eat. Whatever you're eating, that's your diet. So and I've had spurts of it where I'm really great, and I've had spurts of it where other stuff creeps in. And it's possibly because I'm not eating enough during the day, so I'm getting those cravings. But when you have someone to reach out to and go, like I did with you, I'm like, I'm struggling, I'm craving sugar. It's easier to do this not alone. It's easier to do this alongside someone else who can provide a bit of that rope to lead you out, that encouragement and that guidance and reassurance even. Like, we need that reassurance sometimes. Hey, you're doing a great job. Keep going, and remember what it was like when you ate that stuff. Remember what it feels like when you eat this stuff, and how your brain is clearer and your body feels better, and the aches and pains due to the inflammation and the sugar that you're putting in and the highs and lows. Like, there's so much in it. There is so much. I love it. Go. You have something to say.
Well, yeah, and I would argue. I know that it seems like a very physical thing that we're talking about, but there is something undeniable about the spiritual connection that I have because of the way I eat. And it's not for nothing that it's in the Bible, all throughout the Bible, about fasting. And in what I believe and what I interpret as the importance of fasting is to say, okay, I'm going to put down my vices and I'm going to focus on you. And when you are literally entrapped and entangled in this addiction to sugar and processed foods, it's impossible. Like, you feel like you're going to die. Like, your body is literally telling you, I'm going to die if I don't eat a cookie. And it's a lie. And so what I love about eating enough fatty animal meat, for me, I was able to go 24 hours without eating with no problem, because I was satiated. And then I was like, oh, hey, wait, didn't you tell me to fast and pray? And didn't you tell me that there were certain things that couldn't be released in Jesus' name without fasting and prayer? Awesome. So I started doing that, and then it just like 10x'd my connection with God. And I was like, okay, I'm staying here for a while. Y'all can have the donuts. That's cool. Go have them. Great. I'm here. We're going to get some work done.
Come on, sis. Preach it, sister. I fully agree with you in that. I fully 100% from my own experience. agree with you in that. On that note, can you share some inspiring success stories from your clients showcasing the positive impact your coaching practices have had on their lives? And how have they experienced transformation and improvement in their mental health and overall well-being?
Yeah, I can't paraphrase this one because she says it so well. I can't even. I just had a client, she posted this on social media. She posted it. She said, I went from barely being able to wake up, feed myself, and didn't have enough brain capacity to make enough money to pay my bills, to now 8 months later, running 3 companies, having enough capacity and income to tithe my time and money. I am so grateful for Emily Penton's work as my coach.
Okay, girl, where do I sign up? Wow.
And it was so funny because I remember the day I met her,
Mm.
I just was like, oh, I see you. I see your potential. I see who you are. And she's like, no, you don't. I spent a month on my kitchen floor not being able to pick up my phone. And I was like, I've been there, sister. I've been there. Let's go. And she was just like, okay, you're crazy, but let's go. Like, she didn't believe me. And it was a rough transition with her. She had a hard time. There were many times that she called me crying, just like, what am I doing? That was my vice. That was the only comfort I had in this world, was my sugar and my processed foods and my things. And I was just like, okay, you can go do what, you're a grown woman. Go do what you want to do. I'm just saying, if you want to come on this side of it, I'm here. She's like, no, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. And she did it. And then it was, we worked together for 2 months. And then finally she said, okay, forget this 2 months thing. I want a year contract with you.
Wow.
And I was just, she said, I don't want to let go yet. And I was like, okay. I was like, no problem. We got it. But she's looked back before and she's told me, she was like, I didn't believe you. I didn't believe you. It was a pipe dream. It was just silly to think that my food had anything to do with my mental health. And now she sees, and now she's thriving. And she just did a post. She had a, what's that called? A support animal. She had a dog that was her support for her anxiety, because it was so bad that she would pick the cuticles on her nails. It was so bad. And now she just signed up yesterday, and she just brought home her own puppy that's a support animal that she is going to train for a year for
Wow.
someone else.
Wow.
And I'm like, yes. And that's who I saw the first day. That's who I saw was this powerhouse, this amazing woman that was, I mean, she had God dripping all over her. She didn't even see it. And now she's like investing into ministries and doing all sorts of things. And I'm just like, oh, like, it's the most beautiful thing.
I'm so speechless, because you're right. The connection, people miss the connection of the food and how important it is. And I guess something that's just dropped in my spirit to talk about, because this is a question that when I started the carnivore diet, my sister was like, what do you mean you're not eating vegetables and fruit? What do you mean? How are you not going to be constipated? How are you going to function? How? So can you shed a little bit of light onto this? Because this is a big deal, right? I mean, at the moment, the rage is be a vegan. And I'm just, go for it. If that's your thing, good, congratulations. For me, I'm the complete opposite end of the spectrum, and it's not judgment. It's not, please hear my heart on that. It's, I've found what works for me, and it is the carnivore diet. So can you just elaborate on a bit of this, because this is so important with the things that are thrown at us with what we should eat.
Yeah. First off, I would start with this book, Brain Energy by Christopher Palmer. He is an assistant professor of psychiatry at Harvard Medical School. So he's not just pretend. He's not just guessing. He's the real deal. And he goes through nothing but absolute science in this book. And his research and his experiences that he has actually taken people through eating, and they use the ketogenic diet to start out with, because he has some of the hardest psychiatric patients with schizophrenia, with borderline personality disorder, with bipolar disorder, with depression that is not responding to the medication. Wow. And he's been doing this for 30 years. And so he goes into the science of why all this works. I'm not even going to pretend that I know the science of it. But in layman's terms, if you are a vegan or a vegetarian right now, and you are not experiencing autoimmune disease, you are not experiencing anxiety, depression, gas, bloating, skin issues, well done. You found your proper diet. You found what works for you. Awesome. I am so happy for you. But if you are a vegan or a vegetarian or eating the standard diet and you are suffering, what if you just try this elimination diet and see how it goes and see what removes? And then the coolest part, you do this for 45 days and then you can reintroduce one new food at a time. All we're doing is just taking away all the variables. When you just get down to fat and meat, and then you reintroduce broccoli because you're dying for broccoli, and you don't have a symptom, awesome. You can reintroduce broccoli. You reintroduce sweet potato. You reintroduce whatever you want to reintroduce, but one at a time. And then you know. But I think it's really important to recognize that there are some transition symptoms, like the poop. Whenever people are like, how do you poop? How do you poop if you don't have fiber? And honestly, it goes all the way through the spectrum. For me, it was honestly about the first 7 months for everything to get regulated out. And if you think about it, we've been eating this way. I had been eating that way for 40 years.
That's right.
So it took a while for my system to really get into absorption and figuring out and eating less waste, because when you eat less waste, you poop less. And so there's less of a chance of constipation. And then sometimes your poop goes to water, and sometimes it goes so thick that it's like tar. And then sometimes there's stuff in the middle, but eventually it regulates its way out and you figure it out.
This is so good. This is so good. Going back to the vices, I'm day 341 of sobriety, so no alcohol and no cocaine. Whoop, whoop. Miracle. So I understand the scary idea, because it is scary, because when we don't have that vice, so the scary idea of removing the vice, because when we don't have that vice, that protective mechanism that makes us feel good, that numbs us, that releases that, is it serotonin, that hit of joy?
Serotonin, dopamine, yeah.
Yeah. Like when you don't have that. So for me, mine was alcohol and cocaine. And so I was always numbing the stuff. Then you take it away and then your stuff comes up and you got to face it, because there's nothing to numb it. You've just got your stuff. And it is so brave. So this, what we're talking about, I don't underestimate the power of this and the The moment where you step up into, I really need a change. Something has to give. I'm not coping. My body's not functioning well. How can I live a better life? How can I treat my body better? How can I help my brain function better? What do I need to do? So when you've kind of got to want it more than you want to breathe,
Yeah.
because this is not a walk in the park.
No.
Changing and interrupting those patterns that we have and have had, like you said, for 40 years, decades. It's like one of the bravest things you'll ever do in your life, but you're so worth it. You are so worth the life that this woman has. Couldn't pick herself up off the floor, couldn't pick up her phone, running 3 companies. Like, why are you not worth this?
And the world needs you. There is
No.
literally a U-shaped hole in this world, and you are doing all of us a disservice to not just step up. And I'll even take it a little bit of a step further.
Come on. Bring it.
We are living in an enslaved society, and we are being controlled by literally everything. With our programming, with our media, with our social media, with our religion, with what our grandma tells us, with what our parents tell us, with what our friends tell us. We are constantly being programmed and enslaved. But the one thing that we have control of is our thoughts and what we put in our mouth.
Amen.
We can always make the better choice. We can always look at the plate, look at the buffet, look at the refrigerator, and we can always have the power to choose what we put in our mouth. And in a world where we feel very helpless, we can recognize that we have a lot of power in the choice of what we put in our mouth. And that to me is the scaffolding that I needed to go, oh, I did this. I mastered this. What else can I do? What else am I powerful about? And to recognize that it was all a lie whenever I was in there. And the things that came to the surface, the trauma that was there whenever my security blanket was pulled away of psych meds and sugar and processed foods, I had to deal with the ugly. I had to deal with the stuff. And I'm so glad that I had that opportunity to do that, because now that I've busted it all, I'm titanium and I'm Teflon. Everything that comes at me just slides right off of me, because I'm like, what else you got? I got this.
You're so cool. You are so cool. I love this. So we've got about 6 minutes left before we need to wrap up. So there are 2 things. So first of all, your latest book seems to have a powerful message. Can you tell us more about the story behind it and what readers can expect to gain from reading it? And then if there's anything that you would like to leave our listeners with before we go, and of course, how they can contact you.
Yes. Whenever people come to me, I've been doing this for 3 years now. And the first theme and the message that they tell me when they're divulging everything is that they are broken. That they are broken and they cannot be fixed. And I believed that. I totally believed that about myself. For 40 years, why would I think that anything was going to be any different? If for 40 years I did the same thing and I was continuing, I was on like, so many failed marriages, so many jobs that I got fired from, just so many things, so many bad decisions. I was broken. And so my favorite thing is to literally get in the trenches with everyone that I meet and say, it's a lie. It's a lie. You're not broken. And so that's what I'm writing the book about. And I'm still in the process. My husband and I actually prayed about it, and we made the decision. I don't know how I feel about this decision, but we made the decision to self-publish.
Yes.
So that's our goal, is by the end of the year, that we will self-publish You're Not Broken. Because I think that that's what people need to realize, so that they can really walk in their full purpose. And what I would leave people with is that exactly, to know that even though all of the things that you have gone through, it's literally just an illusion. It's not the truth. And
Mm.
the truth is that you are not broken, you are brilliant.
Mm. I
There
love
is something in you, literally, there's something in you that has lasted for eons. That this one egg and this one sperm made it through, the survival of the fittest. You won. You're here. You did
Yes.
it. So you're brilliant. Your body is functioning, even though you've been like loading it with cocaine and alcohol and foods and horrible life decisions. You're
Mhm.
still alive.
Right.
You're brilliant. You're brilliant. What else can we do? You just survived hell. Let's see what you can do whenever you're clear, whenever
Mm.
you're walking in your true power. The best is yet to come.
Oh, I receive that. The best is yet to come. Mic drop. I love it. I love it so much. Emily, how can people contact you? Oh, would you be interested, or yeah, do you want to tell us a little bit about your programs, what they look like, how much they cost? I don't know where you
Yeah.
want to go to with that, and then
Yeah.
how they can get in touch with you. Because I think, like, I know my brain's going, what does working with you look like?
Yeah. Well, there's tons of coaches out there. There's tons of keto coaches, carnivore coaches, everything. But what I bring to the table is my toolbox of being a therapist and having my master's in clinical counseling, so that we can address your childhood sexual trauma that comes to the surface, your relational trauma, your self-sabotage, your body dysmorphia. Like, there's so many things that come to the surface. And so I'm there. And what I do is I actually work with people in a very intimate container. And I do it through video messaging. Do you guys have Marco Polo in Australia? It's
I've
an app.
I've never heard of it, but so I don't know.
That's okay. It's kind of like WhatsApp, except for whenever you send a message, it's always video. So you just hit video and it sends the message to them. You could do a video message on WhatsApp.
Mm.
Um, but I give you free access to me. So it doesn't matter where you're at. I have clients in Australia, New Zealand, Sweden, the Netherlands, Canada, all over the place.
Wow.
And so it doesn't matter what time of the day it is. You can pick up your phone and you can send me a message.
Mm.
I might be sleeping, I might be with my family, but I will respond the next morning when I wake up within 24 hours, and I will give you back a video message. And so we have this tether, we have this connection. I'm looking into your eyes, you're looking into my eyes. I'm reading your facial expression and your
Mm.
tone of voice. You're reading my facial expression and my tone of voice. And so you're literally like, it's kind of like you have a therapist in your pocket,
Yeah.
and it's constant, no matter what you're going through, no matter whether it's relational or whatever. It doesn't have to just be about the food, because we know that our eating is emotional most of the time. So it's important for us to address those things. So that's what I do, is for 2 months, you have that intimate connection. and it's pretty much every day. I think I took a week off like maybe a month ago, and I just told everybody, okay, I'll get to your messages as soon as I can. But it's usually every day, whenever you need me. And then we have 4 one-on-ones in those 8 weeks. And then this is my favorite part about this. We have a group meeting 3 times a week.
Wow.
And that yeah, and it's just the clients in Inner Clarity System. It's not free to the rest of the world. It's not recorded. It's not public. It's just us. It's just other people who are coming from the trenches. Nobody comes to me that's like, I want to lose 5 pounds. Like, those people are not in this space. The people who come to me are miserable and struggling and feeling broken. And so we have these meetings 3 times a week because I have to hit all the different time zones. And you can come to one meeting a week, or you could come to all 3 if you wanted. But my favorite part about this is that link is for life.
Wow.
Even when you're done with the 2 months, you can always come back to that meeting. You can always pop into the group and have that accountability, have that witness, have that connection, have that inspiration of hearing other people's stories. And so that two months is $6,500. And then, like I said, the link is for life. And so it's basically having a therapist in your pocket for 2 months and then getting to meet with that therapist for the rest of your life 3 times a week if you want to jump into the meeting. The way that people can work with me is that they can schedule a clarity call. And that is $111, because I cannot tell you how many people have come to just that meeting and turn their life around. That's all they needed. So some people just need the blueprint. They just need, okay, here's what you do, go do it. And they got it. And I had somebody just recently, she was like, I just lost 20 pounds. And I was like, awesome. I've had other people who had, autoimmune disease, mental disorder, and they just went and did it. Some people just have that gene and they just do it.
Yeah.
And so for $111, I sit there and you have all of my attention, and we go deep. We go into everything that you need. And then it's kind of like an interview. You get to talk to me and see how you vibe with me. And I get to talk to you and see how I vibe with you. And then you can choose to go on to the $6,500. And we'll just roll that clarity call into that $6,500. But we got to start somewhere. We got to start with the clarity call. And Angela, I would love for you to be an affiliate, which just means a link that you have. And you might already be an affiliate. I don't think you are.
I think so.
But if people just sign up for that clarity call through your link, they get $1,000 off.
Wow.
So it's $5,500.
Wow.
For 2 months of work. And it was so funny. I had this client just a couple months ago. We were 2 weeks in, and she goes, Emily, I feel like you moved in with me. And I was like, I'm doing my job. Yes, I love it. She goes, I'm not alone. Like, because she had a binge eating. And so she would eat in secret all the time. And she said, I feel like I'm never alone. I feel like you moved in with me. And so I don't have my disorder as much because I know that you're here. So that's what I do. And if anybody wants to find me, they can just go to emilypenton.com. And that's the best way to find me, to schedule that clarity call, or just find me on social media at Inner Clarity System.
Amazing. I will definitely talk to you about that affiliate, and I'm going to book a clarity call with you. So let's wrap this up, but don't hang up, Emily. We'll do this. We'll book this in now. Thank you so much. Your heart, I absolutely adore. your wisdom and your experience on this and your love for people is something that, you just don't find it very often. A lot of people are money driven, but you're not. You're so about improving someone's life and seeing the potential in them and bringing them to their best possible life that they were created for, intentionally created for. And I love it. I love it. I love it. Thank you so much. And all of those who are listening, if you know of someone who needs this message, who needs help with their eating, with their clarity, with so many things, with their health, please pass this on. Please share this with them. Share it through your social media. Tag us both. And thank you for listening today, and we'll see you on the next show.
Angie, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Just having a safe place for me in your friendship has meant everything to me. And I can't thank you enough for what you are doing to serve others by having these public conversations. We need to have more of them. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Follow Angela on Facebook and LinkedIn at Angela Bennett, on Instagram at AngieB_transformations, or visit angieb.com.au. And remember, your past does not define you, it refines you.